in our snow shows. This is an event that we do every year to number one, reinforce our partnership with the media for snow events. Once again, we can do the greatest job as SHA, but if we don't have our partners helping us get the word out about what drivers should expect and what they should do during snowstorms, we will be less effective. So once again, thank you. So a lot of folks think that handling snow events is just, getting out, putting a plow down, putting a little bit of salt out. Actually, it's becoming more of a science. We have to know what road temperatures are, air temperatures are, how much salt we're putting down. We do a lot of anti-icing pre-treatments on our roadways prior to a storm. So there's a lot of chemistry, physics, and meteorology in how we attack a snow event here in Maryland. But one of the more unscientific things is the luck of when a storm blows in. So we can get a storm that happens at 3 in the morning that will have little impact on traffic to the motorists in Maryland, or we can get a storm that comes right in before rush hour that can cause hours of backup, as we saw last year on the Washington Beltway. So we have the tools we need. The equipment and technology is present both at SHA and the Toll Authority to effectively fight snowstorms. So we're going to walk through some of those assets, but the bottom line is that we are ready for when the first snow event comes to Maryland. So everyone remembers the blizzard of 2016, Winter Storm Jonas. So when we start naming snowstorms, that means they're pretty major. So that was a storm that dumped on us constantly for 2 days towards the end of January last year. And we had 30 inches dumped in a day in some areas. Overall, I think our highest accumulation was over 42 inches up in Frederick County. So we were dropping 1 to 3 inches of snow in 14 hours. So this was a tremendous challenge, but once again, our folks stepped up, not only the plow drivers, but our folks here at CHART, our communications folks, everyone. It was a team effort working with the counties and the locals to make sure that we made the roadway safe for folks during that storm. So our shops in Montgomery and Prince George's County, where we have the biggest density of traffic, did an outstanding job. We cleared all the lanes and shoulders within 10 days compared to 21 days during the snow, the twin blizzards of 2010. So we are prepared, but once again, it can be the small storms that cause us the biggest headaches. Folks often forget that little storm that blew in right during rush hour before Big Storm Jonas. And to put it mildly, we were called less than geniuses for our reaction to that storm. But what folks need to understand is when snowstorms come during rush hour events, we are actually in the same traffic. Our plows, our salting vehicles, our pre-treatment vehicles cannot get out and do what they need to do because there is so much traffic. So during Snowstorm Jonas, because of the partnership we have with you guys, the word was out and people heeded that advice. They stayed off the roadways. We were able to get out, do our job as efficiently as possible. So it is, once again, that luck part of this process that can drive some consequences for motorists. So we aren't here to ask you guys to say how great of an organization State Highway Administration is, although I think we're a great organization. we are here to, once again, reinforce the partnership and get the word out to the citizens of how to react when they know that a snowstorm is blowing into the state of Maryland. So we've increased our snow budget. Last year it was $56 million. This year we have a $5 million increase. So we're up to $61 million for our total snow budget. And just to give you an idea, last year we spent over $50 million on Winter Storm Jonas, just the one event. So that is the scale of what we are talking about for the costs that are associated with winter maintenance. So just some statistics. We have 95 salt barns and domes all over the state with 380,000 tons of salt across the state. We have 1 million gallons of salt brine, which is a 27% salt and 73% water solution that we do pre-treating of our roadways. We can access up to 2,700 pieces of equipment and personnel in the event of a major winter storm. We know that salt is the best way to prevent roads from freezing, so we do know we have to use salt, but each year we are trying to ratchet down our salt usage because of the environmental impacts, the impacts on the bay, the impacts on other waterways here in the state of Maryland. So salt brine is used as an anti-icing agent by itself, and is becoming more widely used in states that have winter storm events. So it's, once again, a mixture of salt and water. So 1 granule of salt, as you know, is 100% salt. And 1 drop of salt brine is only 27% salt. So that, when we use brine, that makes us more efficient, and it makes us, once again, have to use less salt on our roadways. So we've piloted the use of liquid-only routes for snow removal and anti-icing. So this is, once again, we know that we are not going to be going into the future using the salt volumes that we've used in past years. We will continue to treat roads in advance of a storm when it is not raining. When we have a storm that starts off as rain and then turns to snow, we cannot use brine because the rain will wash our brine right off the roadway before it becomes effective. So we also can't apply brine to roads when the temperature is 20 degrees or colder. So it will freeze and create even a worse situation. So once again, this is not your grandfather's winter maintenance practice. These are, we have folks who are very versed in the physics and the chemistry of how we have to apply our salt. So our new technology and equipment this year, we do have some new equipment items. We will be using loader scales that automatically weigh salt during truck loading. So once again, this will give us a more accurate accounting of our salt usage. We have 5 State Highway Administration facilities involved in the pilot program, 2 in Kaiser's Ridge out in western Maryland and Garrett County, 2 in LaVale in Allegheny County, and 1 in our Centerville shop out on the eastern shore in Queen Anne's County. So each time these loaders scoop up salt, it is automatically weighed by the bucket, and once again, it gives us a better control on our salt usage. This is our 3rd year of using quad axle vehicles. These are the bigger trucks that allow our forces to be more efficient. Once again, we can have more salt, more fuel, and these trucks can go on longer snow routes than a normal tri-axle truck. So this is, once again, an efficiency that we think will eventually, it won't be our entire fleet because we'll still need some tri-axles, but as we get a optimal mix of quad axles, we think we will be that much more efficient. So these trucks carry 17 cubic yards of salt as opposed to 7 cubic yards in our standard truck. And once again, a fuel capacity of 120 gallons, which is half again more than the 80 gallons that our standard vehicles carry. So we are also adding live video feeds. So once again, our folks can go to our website and look at what the roads are condition-wise before they make a decision to get out on the roads before, during, and after a storm. So now let's talk about safety and driving tips for the public. So how can we help the person who is driving in a snowstorm? How can we help them, and how can they help us? Every year during snow or ice storms, we see motorists traveling too fast for conditions. So our chart crews constantly are pulling folks out of ditches or out of snowbanks where they were driving too fast for conditions and have slid off the roadway. So the folks, what we hear is, well, the speed limit is 70 or the speed limit is 55. That speed limit is for ideal conditions. Folks have to look at the conditions and moderate their driving speeds. So once again, we tell folks, take it slow on ice and snow. Just an easy jingle to remember for when you're out there, and know that you cannot do 70 miles an hour during a snowstorm. So another safety tip relates to driving near snowplows. And some of you are going to get out and drive some of these vehicles. And I've driven in snowplows a couple of times, and it is a tremendous challenge. You're going to be out driving in a parking lot, sunny, but imagine yourself driving at night, snow coming in, blowing in at a tremendous rate. These are the things that our drivers are faced with. And when we have vehicles that get too close to these plows, this presents a tremendous safety issue for us. We've had some of our snowplows hit by vehicles in years past because folks have not given enough space for the snowplows to do their business. So you can't be reckless around these large vehicles. It is a danger to not only yourself as a driver, but also to the driver who may not see you and is looking at a number of different pieces of instrumentation in his vehicle, looking at the roadway, looking at mirrors. So this is an important thing for folks to know. So never pass snowplows or snowplow trains. And I know folks get impatient. They say, well, why are these plows going so slow? Number one, if we are putting down salt, we want to make sure that salt stays on our roadway. So there are optimal speeds that we need to drive at to make sure that our salt is staying on the roadway. So we ask for patience when people are driving behind a salting operation or a plow operation. So once again, we use the saying, don't crowd the plow. Once again, if you hit a plow, you're going to lose. So there is no win-win situation. It is a lose situation for the vehicle that hits a snowplow. So once again, if you get out and you speed around the plowing operation, you're just getting into a roadway that has not been yet treated. So have patience when you're traveling. So once again, as citizens are preparing themselves for the winter season, and we have forecasts of a little bit of snow flurries blowing in this weekend up in western Maryland. So we need motorists to make sure that their vehicles are ready for the winter. Check the treads on your tires. Make sure you have ice scrapers and other supplies in your car. Take a few minutes before it gets really cold and to check your belts on your vehicle, to check your hoses, And once again, check the air pressure in your tires. Make sure they are not overinflated, because once again, that can be a cause of accidents. So finding a small problem now can keep you from being on the side of the road during a snow event. And once again, that is a major risk when you are out there not being seen by other traffic. So check all your lights on your vehicles. Make sure your blinkers are working, your high beams, your low beams on your vehicles are working, your brake lights. So you must be seen during these events. And once again, know where to turn to for information. And that's, once again, that's one of the reasons we do these snow shows, is to demonstrate the partnership with the media so folks will know where to go to when they are planning a trip. So there are some other resources. We have Maryland 511 system here, which is a free traffic information service. You can call and use the voice or push button prompts for specific routes and information, or you can log on to Maryland511.org and see traffic and map displays, live traffic cameras, and real-time information. So once again, this is a pre-trip piece of information that we need drivers to look at before they get on the road. We don't want people on their portable devices trying to look at it during an actual snow event. So, and another great resource is our CHART website, and this is at traffic.maryland.gov or marylanddot.gov. So this is, once again, a great site. You can, all the camera views that we have here, folks can access and they can see what type of traffic and conditions they're going to run into. So for our major snow events, we staff our social media accounts. Our social media expert is here, and they tweet. They are on Facebook during snow events to let folks know what they can expect. So once again, these services don't replace all the other services that we've talked about, but they are an additional piece of information that folks can access before they get out on the roadways. So having a direct connection with our customers is great, but we do have some unrealistic expectations. Our citizens have these unrealistic expectations during snowstorms. There will be snow on the roads. You will have to slow down. So we try and plow to keep it from accumulating and getting hard packed on the roadway, but you will be driving with snow on the roadway, so you should expect that. Our SHA crews, we have our snow routes are anywhere from 15 to 20 miles long. So if you don't see a snow plow when it's snowing, be assured that that snow plow is somewhere in that 15 to 20 mile route that he or she has assigned to them. So our overall goal is to have bare pavement within 6 hours of a regular storm. If we get a blizzard like Jonas last year, that changes our calculation. We still try and get out and do our best to get a return back to normal conditions as quickly as possible. But once again, when you're getting snowfall rates of 3 inches an hour, that's a daunting task. So once again, something that's worth repeating, when a storm is forecasted to produce 6 inches or more snow, our State Highway Administration opens up selected park and ride lots for commercial trucks. So last year during Snowstorm Jonas, we had to close I-70 and I-270 for a length of time. And one of the reasons were we were getting a number of commercial vehicles that were sliding off or having accidents and blocking the roadways, where our plows, we had to deploy towing services out to move these vehicles out of the roadway. And we know that it's a small margin of time that these folks have to operate in, but we provide these park and ride lots during the larger snow events so they can get off the roadway and they can be safe themselves. So once again, when these vehicles, when the commercial vehicles crash, that takes resources away from plowing the roadway to now addressing that accident. So heavy-duty tow trucks are deployed during these larger snowstorms out in western Maryland, near the Baltimore-Howard County line, and I-95 in Prince George's County, and Howard and Baltimore counties, to make sure that if there is an accident, we can quickly get that commercial vehicle moved off the roadway, get the roadway plowed, and try and get traffic back to normal operations as quickly as possible. Patience is a key during winter operations. Give us time, we will get it done. And our agency, along with the toll authority, I think did a fantastic job last year in getting our roadways back to conditions where folks could use them as quickly as possible. So it was only 2 days into the storm last year, and folks were already complaining about why isn't the roads back to normal. Patience is key. We have to make sure that things are safe. We have to clear shoulders. We have to haul snow in a number of locations where we don't have room to just push it off the side of the road. So once again, it was a record snowfall, and I think the response to it was outstanding. The bottom line is that we're all in this together to try and keep the economy in Maryland going during snow events is one of our key drivers to make sure that folks are safe. So this is a task that we take very seriously. So once again, I want to thank you all for coming out, and I'll take any questions that you may have.
That salt brine, is that different from that salt molasses mix?
That is.
Okay, you still using that little molasses stuff?
And I'm gonna defer to Russ. So Russ is giving me the no, we are not using.
We're not using the molasses.
Why is that?
We had an issue a couple of years ago where we had the winter with very little snow removal, or very little snow, and the molasses sat in the tank and it actually started to deteriorate in the tank. When we went to spray, we were getting a lot of complaints about the odor and things of that nature. So we've kind of have abandoned that. We didn't feel like we were getting the benefit from the molasses that we were hoping.
Okay. Do you have kind of a goal or an expectation of you're going to use less salt? Do you have a goal of using 2% less, 20%, 10, or what do you think?
The Federal Highway Administration, which is one of our primary funding agencies, has a goal set for states that have winter events, and we are seeking to meet that Federal Highway Administration goal. So right now, I think, Russ, our goal this year is a drop of 5%.
Hopefully at least 5-10%.
So we're hoping to be in alignment with other states that have snow events in their salt usage quantities.
Do they want you to kind of keep that trend every year, try to use like 5% less this year and 5% next, or you know?
They have a solid number that they want us to get to, but eventually, in national discussions, we think that number is going to be dropping because of the potential environmental harm that overuse of salt can cause. So we are trying to get ahead of the curve and be smart in how we are reducing our salt usage while not driving up the number of accidents or incidents during a snowstorm.
And you have some new cameras. It was like almost 60 new cameras coming online.
Well,
How many?
it's in the packet. Don't turn the joy to maybe.
Is that what it is? Just about 60 new cameras?
Yeah. We're looking to add those additional cameras and to key locations that are going to give us better visual situational awareness of incidents where we don't currently see them
It said by the end of the year, so I could say 60 new cameras have to be online by the end of the year.
The end of this year? No.
Fiscal year, maybe?
Fiscal year, not
Ah,
calendar.
what's that?
So
June.
July of
July.
17, July of 17.
Mhm.
Since last winter, we brought on a number of new ones.
Yeah.
We brought on a number of new ones since last winter, have come
I
online.
think that's
earlier.
inside the 60.
Probably.
How many have been added since last winter?
I can't give you a solid number.
It's
I-
on,
Somewhere in the,
there's a whole packet of all the new ones we have. There's a
I
whole
saw
list.
that, but that says those ones will be added. Or does it say how many have been added?
Yeah, most, of the- like I would say, the lion's share of them have been added.
Okay. Now, can I say upwards of,
Say
30?
Yeah,
30 or something.
30,
Okay, we'll
30
get
to
the
40.
exact before you're done.
yeah, no, yeah.
Seems reasonable, yes. Yep.
I'll have one of our building comms department tell you.
Okay.
Anything else?
Other questions?
So, we're gonna turn it over to Dave, who's gonna show us some of the website real quick. And then also we'll hear from Scott Eamer about some incident